How's it going? I'm here. I think I've done everything I need to do for the chat, for everything. I don't know. I haven't got the monitor up. Also, I didn't check my camera. I didn't preview my camera. I think I might have stuffed it up. So we're about to find out if I go to isolated capture. It looks okay. Very good. That's awesome. Awesome. How's it going, everybody? We are here, and we're going to be continuing working on our third-person shooter. I worked on it a little bit yesterday and this morning. Just a little bit on animations. I haven't really done much with the weapon management yet. I just realized I needed more animations, and I also played Fortnite for the first time for about 5 minutes just to see what the third-person controller was like for that game, because I guess it is like a pretty famous third-person shooter. I should probably know about it, you know? So I did that, and it gave me an idea for the animations, and I implemented that yesterday. But today we are sort of going to be trying to like get the third person controller out of the way. Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Trying to get the weapon management system up and running so that we can start recording the tutorial, and I can get this up to Patreons as well, so because they should have access to it as early as possible. So that's what we're doing. Awesome. Scratch my head. Okay, so this is what we've got. I'll run it because I'll show you what I mean with the animations. Basically, I noticed that for like the forward directions, basically this direction, that's not working. Never mind. We might have to dive into that. Oh, you know what it is? It is working because you can look at the feet. Basically, in the old one, the backwards, this direction here didn't look very good when you were running in this direction because like your feet, the blend just didn't work. So I changed the blend. We rotate the entire character. Actually, we rotate the entire skeleton, but we do have IK on the chest. So the chest is never gonna, it's never gonna rotate. So I guess that's something to keep in mind. I don't know. It looks all right, to be honest. Hey, finally caught up to you again. How are you doing? Yeah, we're doing good. The project looks pretty good in my opinion. I think we're coming along pretty nicely. The other thing I want to change is the sprinting, I should say. I'll look at that later, but essentially what I've got now is that the left and right keys actually rotate the camera, which I don't know if I like. So something to sort of look at there. But other than that, things look pretty good. We can change weapons. The arms move in place. There's no easing on that, so they move instantly. But we're gonna try to animate today the changing of the weapons so that like it doesn't happen instantaneously. Stuff like that. Also, I'm just noticing now there's a little bit of funny movement on that because it's not stuck to it 100%. I don't know. But we'll work on that. And also, like, I might need IK on the right hand in order to control for pistols and stuff like that. The thing that I'm most worried about at the moment is that IK has actually been depreciated. So, like, I don't know what's going to be implemented next. I haven't looked at. I need to look at Godot 4.4 to see if there's anything, any big changes on the horizon, and sort of address that. But today I just want to try and get the actual shooting happening. So there's a lot to do, to be honest, because I've set up these resources with a couple of just like standard things that I had last time, like the amount the magazine holds, the maximum ammo that it can take, the damage that it does, whether or not it's automatic firing, the fire range, and then like what appears when you drop the weapon, if it can be dropped, what kind of projectile that you want to load up, and if it's a shotgun. Basically, that's the shotgun button. Maybe that needs to change. I don't know. I feel like I could do better for shotguns. Like, maybe there's a way that we can get it so that the shotgun is not necessarily determined by just a click of a button there. I don't know. Because, yeah, I'm just not too sure. But we'll work on that. Maybe I should do it from scratch so that I get a fresh idea for what it should be, if that makes sense. So we've got the node for the weapon manager. We're able to change. So all this does at the moment is it takes the input for weapon up and weapon down, and it emits this change weapon button. Thanks. Where am I? So that's all we're doing at the moment. We're just updating the current weapon and emitting that. But we want to treat it more like a state machine. So change weapon is the thing is with the weapon manager. It's like, what's the state? Is the state the current weapon, or is the state what it's doing? It's like you need two. You have to keep track of what the current weapon is and when you switch it, and then you also have to keep track of what the weapon is doing. So I don't know if we put the state of the weapon action on the resource, and then we can check against that, and we keep the weapon resource as the weapon manager is something that just controls the current weapon basically, and then just feeds commands to the weapon resource. We could potentially do that. Other things to think about, because the biggest difference, I don't want to rely on the animation player. We're not going to be able to rely on the animation player because it's all going to be happening procedurally. For the most part, we're going to be leveraging IK. Obviously, that's been depreciated, so it's pretty risky. What does Godot 4.4 look like? I'm starting to think about that, like, oh crap. And also, I needed some more animation, so I got those. Godot 4.4. Dev 1. They're already on it. It's crazy. 10 days, we are bringing you fixes. Metal backend, okay, that's great for iPhones. 3D physics interpolation, great. Light map, cube mapping, great. Textures, optimizations, and more. Is there any mention of IK? They're going to replace it. No, there's no mention of IK. So maybe it's not in this one, but it's going to be in the next one. I don't know. I'm really concerned about that. But let me think. Let me cook. We've got to change weapon. So in the first person shooter one, we basically had a function called exit. Change weapon, I think, is a better name, but we do need to call a couple of extra functions because we're going to need to instruct the animation player to play certain animations, and we're going to need to know when they're completed. So it might be worth, see, this thing is like, you're still going to need to know like when those animations are done and to proceed to the next one, basically. It's interesting because this time the animation player is like, it's involved in everything. It's not just an animation player for the hands. Like, we're going to get the animation tree, which is going to have an animation finished. I can't click it. Why can't I click it? Wait. Okay. Annoying. It's because this is wide, eh? There's this weird thing with sizes. The reason for that is because I've got scaling on the UI, so it's more readable for you guys. But okay, so player, we got the animation tree, animation player, animation finished. So we're still going to need that, you know. Mustafa Kayan, I am Turkish and I congratulate you. Continue like this. I will, man. Thank you. We love our Turkish watchers. Animation finished. Yeah, so we'll still need this, right? Because we're still going to need to know once he's put the weapon behind his head, right? We still need to know all that. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. I wonder. So, I just don't want to fall into the same kind of patterns as before, because I feel like it could be better. But it's just like the question of, okay, so you call the exit function, so you call the change weapon function, for example. What do you expect to happen? You're obviously going to have a function called exit current weapon, something like that. And we probably don't need to know the weapon to exit because it's going to be current weapon. So we're going to just write pass for now. We're going to probably play some kind of animation, right? Realistically, is that really it? We probably, what I did in the last one is I designated what the next weapon was going to be, but like we already know the next weapon because we have the int here. So like, I don't know, we can set that already. We've already, in fact, you would have to call exit current weapon prior to like setting the current weapon, right? Which is what we're doing here. And then you would expect a callback from the animation player to like enter next weapon. I don't like these function names. Right, and we're just going to play some kind of animation, update the UI. Play animation, update UI. That's really all you do for these two functions, right? Let me have a look at my old project. Is there anything that I'm missing? We called a function called exit. Sometimes writing or drawing a problem. Yeah, sometimes I do that too. I've drawn some pretty damn bad pictures in my time. So we go exit, and then, yeah, it's literally just play the weapon and then designating the next weapon to a string. Oh, actually, it was a weapon slot at this point, so. Because I think that was probably a mistake in the last one. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. This is the FPS first person controller. The problem with this is that in the function for exit, I'm actually just passing in the resource rather than the index. And so then I have to pass that around. But the index is a lot easier to keep track of, you know? So then I would attach it to like a next weapon value here, and then when we change weapons, current weapon equals weapon slot, basically enter. What happened? What's the flow of the code here? So we call exit. How long have you been using Godot? I have been using Godot since 2020. So COVID is when I got really serious about game development, and Godot was the engine that I decided to use. So that was the one, and I haven't looked back since because it just makes so much sense for an indie developer. Like if you're just developing a game engine, like on your own, not a game engine, I should say. If you're just developing a game by yourself, I think Godot is a really strong choice. There are other options, but Godot is probably one of the better choices. There's no right or wrong choice, but. How did you put the YouTube chat in the Godot panel? I'm cheating. That's not real. So I can show you guys. Follow chat. Layout 2. It's just a picture. Oh. I should probably like put that online somewhere. like people, like you could write code for that. Like you could 100% like integrate it, but you know how much faster it is to just make a picture. It's like colors. It's like a square, but I could make it if I felt like it. But yeah. Okay, so the flow of the code we call exit, right? And we designated the next weapon. We play the animation, change, and then we have a callback signal. Where is it? On animation finished. And basically in the animation finish, we just check to see if the name is change animation. I couldn't remember who you are at first, but then I noticed I watched a few of your tutorials. Yes. Yeah, I've like, I guess like I'm showing my face a lot more now. So I'll probably use it so that people know who I am. Always happy to share. That's a part of the fun. Godot engine under the whole is badly structured. It is heavily inheritance based. Yeah, it is actually. You're 100% right. Because like, I was actually explaining this to someone the other day. They were asking me about this extends thing. And I was like, yeah, you know, you can see the list there. It's inherited by all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's a Node 3D. It means you have access to all of these functions. And then you also know that it inherits node and object, so you can access those functions as well. Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. In fact, it's pretty common, right? Like that's a very common way of doing things. I'm pretty sure Unity is the same. I haven't used it in a very long time. You know, you're always inheriting an object. Basically, anytime you're doing game development, you're bringing in a physics object, it's going to be inheriting some kind of class. So, you know, but yeah, once you get used to it, it's not so bad. In fact, good. I've caught myself in trouble occasionally, expecting to find things and then realizing it's not within that class. It can be a bit annoying. I think probably the biggest disadvantage of having such a big inheritance design is that as someone who learned how to code, like I had learned a little bit about code, you know, seemed a bit, what does the weapon up and down method? Why is it so bad? Because you inherit a lot of junk you don't need. I suppose that would be what some people would say. I don't think it's a big deal. I can see the valid form of criticism. Like it is a valid criticism, but like whatever. It is common in gaming. Yeah. It is coming in gaming? Yeah, super common. Hey, computer graphics, how are ya? Giraffics? Computer graphics. You know what I forgot? I forgot to set tags on my stream. Do you think it matters? I also forgot to monetize it. Ugh. I need that 5 cents. Oh my goodness. Make a game. Game dev. I need like a set of tags to put in. I realized the other day that I don't have any default tags for my live stream, so it probably makes the search a bit difficult. Anyway, we are going good. So we were getting lost. Okay, someone asked, Aussie's Den asked, current weapon +1 mod slot size seems a bit off to me. Yeah, we were playing around in sort of with that. Basically, that allows you to loop indefinitely. I'm actually not a huge fan of that design. We were sort of just talking, I was talking with the chat about it, and someone was suggesting this, and it's okay. So what this basically allows you to do, now the way to change weapons at the moment is just up and down, like you scroll up, you scroll down, right? But scroll up lets you, allows you to loop through indefinitely. So you can change weapons, but down is the other way around. You just press down, you can't change weapons any further down. And now we've got some issues, as you can see. So like, it's a design choice for sure. Probably not one that I would use, but it doesn't matter, right? Like if you want it to be infinitely scrollable, it can be. But there is a new design, composition and ECS. I don't know too much about ECS, but I do know a lot about composition. I utilize it a lot myself. So in my FPS controller, this is it here, what we do for the weapon manager, which controls all the weapons here, I'll run this for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So you've got a weapon and you're shooting, you can shoot, obviously. We can pick up another weapon, hang on a second, as a better example, a rocket launcher. I don't know if it works, let's see. So notice the key difference between these two weapons, right? This weapon is hit scan. So that means it doesn't fire any kind of physical projectile. All it does is it does a ray cast and just says, yep, that's an object you can hit. It should be hit, right? And then the rocket launcher fires a projectile, like a rigid body. And when it makes contact with things, it does, rocket launcher things, as far as I can describe it. And so what that is a form of composition. So for the weapon manager, you can see how it's composed here. We have a stack of weapons, which is an array. ECS is what is it called? It stands for something. I know it's important, but I haven't looked into it. ECS in computer science. It's not heavily utilized in game design at the moment. Architectural pattern entity component system, mostly used in video game development for the representation of game world objects. So there probably is some of that going on under the hood. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not too sure. Apart from knowing that it exists, I've never looked into it myself. I'm not a formally educated game designer, computer science guy. I work in finance. So, an example of a component system, though, is that the weapon has an array, and each weapon that array is of weapon slots. And within a weapon slot is a weapon. And within a weapon, you have a lot of data, what the name of the weapon is, the pickup at all the different animations, its statistics, its behavior. So this is where we get into more componentry. What do you do when you weapon drop? What do you spawn? It's just a scene, right? What about the spray? There's something called a spray profile. So the weapon manager doesn't know about any of these things. Projectile to load, that's what I was talking about before. I want under the hood of the engine to be designed in a composition in ECS way for it to easier manage and increase performance, reduce complexity. I guess we'll just have to wait and see to see if, I don't know does any engine do that at the moment? I don't know. I'd imagine most of them, since they are so old. ECS is kind of new, right? I'd imagine most of them are 1998, pioneered. So yeah, that's like Operation Flashpoint ECS design. Gameplay kit. Unity released a Megacity demo that utilized tech stack built on ECS. So maybe Unity does, I don't know. But the game code is okay to be inheritance based if the game dev wanted. Oh yeah, it's whatever works for you, right? Like for me, when I'm making these things, because this is all just for like YouTube tutorials. When I'm making these things, I have to think about like the higher level, right? So like, what will people use this for? You can download this. Actually, you can't at the moment because I haven't updated it for Godot 4.3. Bevy, yeah, that's a good example. Bevy is a really good example of a game engine. People quite like that quite a lot. It makes black screen time plus 4 or 5 seconds specifically on Android. Okay, so it's not that great. But, it just probably depends on the developer. So when I'm thinking about these kind of things, you have to utilize componentry because you don't know what people are going to want to do with the project. So I think it's really, really powerful in the point of saying, where's the shoot function? It looks like there's a lot going on here, but majority of this is just the animations, what to do, right? Play this animation, but not if this is happening, or this is happening. This is kind of messy. This is what I'm trying to avoid for the next tutorial. And then this is shot between. This is to count how long between your shots. Literally all I do is load the projectile after I've checked a bunch of other stuff, And what does the projectile do? All we do is spawn it. We give it some data on where it is in the world. That's a new thing for Godot 4.3. And then we add it to the world with addChild. We emit a signal and we call the function on that. And we give it all the information that we need. And that's it. That's all you do. And it handles the rest. It's got its own set of like checks and balances that happen. And all of that is happening. Like the weapon manager does not care about damage, doesn't calculate any of those things. This all happens on the projectile for the most part. I haven't componentized the damage, which I should do. So like hit scan damage, I'm checking if it's in group, which is like considered pretty old fashioned these days. Godot developers have moved on from that. So I need to probably componentize the damage, but other than that, it's all like componentry is the way to go. So because the engine developer was too about inheritance, they don't want to learn a new way of design. It can be hard, right? Like if you're always expanding on those ideas, and I suppose as well, like if you're making something, like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter because if you're just trying to make a game and get it working, if it's working, like your user cannot tell under the hood how it was made, as long as it works. So from that point of view, it doesn't matter. It matters if like what you chose to do causes performance problems, and obviously it affects the user experience. But as long as it doesn't affect the user experience, then none of this really matters. It's just what can you do and how can you do it in a way that's efficient for you and that makes writing your code as easy as possible. And if that's using inheritance because that's what you know, then that's fine. Sometimes learning things takes too long, you know? And I mean, I'm not that kind of person. I'm always trying to extend what I know and change. But for some people, that's not what they want to do, right? And that's fine. Anyway, I'm going to move this over because we're trying to make a new one that does things a little bit differently, but not entirely differently. Okay, so we've got a change weapon. The question is, for this new one, so we are going to need an animation player. We're still going to need to know when animations are finished and what's happening. It's something that I don't think we can avoid. It's an animation mixer. Like, we're just going to need to know that information. Like, I can't think of, aside from using a timer, but like you would still need to know the length of the time, like that length of the time of the animation. We could potentially do that, right? Like you just go, when you're calling the animation here on the change weapon, you call the animation for change weapon and you can query it, how long it's going to take. The problem is, this is going to be the issue, right? Like what controls what animation to play? Because right now, the difference, okay, so the biggest difference between like the first person shooter and this one is that all of that was hand animated. So every single weapon had an animation. And I think that's okay for first person because there's fewer animations you need to do. But for third person, it's a lot. You kind of need to make it procedural. And that's what we're doing. See this right hand, left hand stuff. It's all just pinned to that hand. The gun is pinned to that. And the left hand is given a coordinate to sit on the weapon. But what happens when we call the animation to put the animation away? It's only going to be one animation. There can't be more than that. It would be too much effort. Maybe there could be two for different kinds of weapon types. But like realistically, like we don't want to be like calling a million different kinds of animations. It would be too hard. Especially like, I'm not animating this. This is all just from Mixamo. I don't want to animate this. So, it becomes a bit of a question, doesn't it? How do we do that? How do we get that information out of here? Okay, the first thing I want to do is add the animations for putting the weapon away. So I need to open up Blender and just bring those animations in. Makes me wonder how much I could get away with. Like, can I just import the animation into Godot? I don't know, I've never tried. What happens if I do that? I don't think it would work, right? Let's find out. That's the whole point of this. Downloads. I got some animations that I prepared earlier. Maybe tween-based animations. It's performant. Inheritance is easier. Yeah, inheritance is easier. 100% until you get like 5 layers deep, and it's not. I don't really like to go more than 2. And then sometimes I've used it as a way of like identifying things. Like you just create a new class that is like a subclass. It doesn't really do anything other than let you know what kind of thing it is. So we go back to documents, Godot, exports, tutorials, state machine. No, we want player, models, animations. I guess we just create a new folder called like animation imports. Put them there. Okay, so it imported them. I wonder. Well, let's see if we can do this. It'd be cool if we can. Model, animation imports. So that's the entire animation, right? We can save it to file. Player, no. Yeah, player, model, animations, right? That was equip weapon, right? Let's just call it that. Re-import it. Get this one. And this is put the weapon away. It looks like the hand placement's completely different. This is the part I'm kind of concerned about. And that's it. See, we want to mix because you want to be able to do this while you're moving, and the legs need to be running as well. We're going to have to like blend the animations. This is going to be a whole thing. There's a lot more involved than the first person one. Define according to the duration, like this in Unity, duration is changing variable on the equation. Yeah, that's probably something we'll do. We'll just determine like we can query the animation. So if it's just a single animation, we can find out how long the animation is, and then we can create a callback based on that. We just do a timer in code. State speed equals icon divided by duration. Yeah, something like that. It probably wouldn't need to be that complicated in Godot. You could just go create timer and then match it. It would work. State machine. Our team is currently making a 3D game in Godot, and we experience severe lag on Android devices. I haven't made an Android game in a really long time, and I haven't done a 3D Android game in forever. Is the severe lag from particles? I've seen that happen a lot. When you spawn them in, you have to like load them up properly. Okay, player. I have got to save this animation. So this is, so I had equip weapon, and this is unequip. Weapon. All right, re-import. Now let's see. So this is our test character here, and we have got the animation. Let's see if we can go to manage animation, and then we can load animation from file and add to library. And player, model, animations, equip weapon. And then it's like couldn't resolve track, skeleton, Mixamo. It's really not happy about that. Press OK. And let's see, where is it? Equip weapon. It's really unhappy. Doesn't work. Skeleton 3D. It doesn't know where the skeleton 3D is. Interesting. I wonder if there's a way to resolve the track. Couldn't resolve track, skeleton, Mixamo, skeleton 3D. So, probably because I imported this from Blender, right? Like if you look at the structure of this one, this is sort of in a node, and that's not, if that makes sense. So I guess I'm just going to be stuck. Instantiate. Yeah, okay, so it is instantiating the particles. I don't know the solution. I know it happens. And it's not just Android devices. It's basically every single device. If you've got a lot of particles loading when you run Godot, there'll be like a little bit of a stutter every time you load them in for the first time. If you've got like a level that loads up for the first time when you do that, I think most people say you're meant to like load them in memory somehow prior to that. I just don't know how. Okay, so that didn't work. So we're back to Blender. Let's just delete this folder. I hate re-importing my models. It just makes things so difficult. It is one of those things that's like, you don't want to do it, but you kind of have to. Test character. Okay, so same process as always, because this is much easier. You import FBX, you choose the thing which I forgot to paste into this folder, so I guess we can just go to downloads and we can go and find all the put file. Sprint forward, grab rifle. So it's this one here. So we import this bad boy. Just put him over there, and then basically we select our original armature, and then you just choose the animation, which is going to be this last one here. I've got that starred. Yeah, awesome. And then you just push down. And then we'll call this, this is unequipped weapon, right? Easy. And then we can delete the other armature. And then we need to grab rifle from behind the shoulder. GPU particles, and yes, if the particles have to appear for the first time, there is lag. Our current workflow is instantiating them without collision shapes and invisible when the time, I don't know if that got loaded out, comes, we make them visible. I wonder, because I tried that a very long time ago and I found no success with it. It didn't actually help. You know, it was only when they were visible where it actually lagged. So I don't know. I imagine that's still the case if you're asking the question. AutoRig Pro is really helping. I use it for all sorts of kinds of tasks. Yeah, AutoRig Pro sounds like it costs money. Push down. Equip weapon. Oh, you got ads? Hang on a second. I normally set it up for YouTube that I tell it to control, I control ads. So I've got to insert mid-rolls manually. So if you got an ad, I didn't press that button. Shouldn't get them unless I say to put, in fact, I almost never run mid-rolls. I am partnered with YouTube, but yeah. Isn't very expensive. Also, Blender Market had a sale where you could get a markdown price. I think I actually did get it, to be honest. But like, since this is for like a tutorial, I couldn't use it. Plus, this works. Use it as is, not to mention ways. Anyway, we can. Whoa. Delete hierarchy. Okay, so we've got equip and unequip, easy peasy. We just need to, I mean, it wouldn't really change the experience here because I just import the animations, add them to the NLA, and then export it as a GLTF to Godot. So it works. Model, test character. Rigify has been enough for me. Yeah, Rigify is great, along with game rig tools. That's what I use if I'm doing something like, if I'm using Rigify, I use game rig tools. If you're using Mixamo and you're only using the Mixamo animations, you can sort of get away doing this. It works pretty well, actually, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, when you came back. Oh, okay, yeah. When you click back through, you got an ad. That's normal. I can't control that. You get that even if I'm not partnered, by the way. That's a new thing. Okay, animations, manage animations. I need to remove those equip weapon ones. It'd be kind of cool if it allowed you to specify, like, say this animation is like busted because it doesn't know what this object is. You should be able to define it, right? It would be really cool if you could do that. I'm a YouTube Premium member, so you should be getting something. Yeah, for sure. All 5 cents worth. I don't even know. Like, streaming has become my main thing that I do on YouTube now. And I don't think I make much money from it. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure it's like 100% just like peanuts. It's kind of crazy, actually. So revenue from live, for the month, if I stream 3 days a week, I made $6. Damn. Anyway, let's get rid of these. Edit transactions, open an inspector. Okay, so let's remove this one. Isn't it possible to export GLTFs from the action editor instead of the NLA tracks? I don't know. I prefer to do it with the NLA tracks because at least I know what I'm getting. To be honest, I am also not specifying when I export, so I'm probably getting both, to be honest. Makes me wonder. Okay, where's this equip? I'm probably not doing it right. Unequip? Or did I just do it with the one? Okay. So the interesting thing about re-exporting it is that when I do that, I can bring it in. So if I look at test character, the setup's the same. So we have the node and then the skeleton and the 3D. So you can actually import these animations pretty easily. So you just equip and you set the path to the player model animations equip weapon, right? And then you save over that one because it was busted anyway. And then unequip weapon enabled save player model animations unequip weapon, right? And then okay, re-import, right? And then now I can come to the one that I have got. So this is my test character, which has like a bunch of other stuff on it that I don't want to get rid of, like the IK and the weapon attachment. And I can come to that animation player and I should be able to bring in these animations. So if I go to manage animations now, I should be able to bring one in from the library, right? No, I want to load and then I just choose equip weapon. And it doesn't give me the same kind of errors as before. Unequip weapon. Other end. Press OK. And now it's not like cranky. And if I go to it, it'll actually play. So it's actually pretty easy to bring in animations now. I don't know how long this has been possible for. Back in Godot 3, it definitely wasn't. Or it was and I just didn't realize it. That's a possibility too. I felt like it was impossible to do 3D back in Godot 3.2. Okay, so we've got equip weapon, which is like this, and it's pretty funny. Why does it look like that, man? Like, who did this animation? It kind of annoys me because if you look at the left hand, importing used to be a nightmare. Yeah, no, 100%, it was the worst. Like, you did not want to do that. But seriously, like, this is more Mixamo's issue. This bone attachment, I mean, I've got a lot of rotations on it. What does it look like if I don't? I mean, it's still angled downwards. Seriously. All right. So, I mean, we're going to need to blend. Because this is like, that's the animation, but what happens if you're running forward, right? Like, obviously you don't want the legs to stop or anything like that. So let me just jump into the animation player, animation tree, I should say. And obviously it looks a bit funny. Let's just get the animation for this to be like in a position that makes sense. So forward running. And the left hand IK needs a target. Let's just make this editable because it's not really like, it gets deleted when the game runs. So left hand target node is the left hand target, which looks pretty bad overall, but like from the angle of the camera, it's fine. Anyway, so that's what we see, animation tree. So I guess we blend it after the state machine. So we've got a state machine here, and that's the output, but we need to, do we need to add or blend? Probably add, right? Or blend and put a filter on it. I think blend too. When the savvy barbarian still made videos, he did great tutorials on Godot and importing process back when you still had to sacrifice your firstborn child to get it to import correctly. Yeah, literally. I've never heard of this guy. Savvy barbarian? Was he like before my time? Or I just missed him. It's actually crazy, like even in the Godot YouTube community, how people, like I'll find, someone will tell me about a person and I'll be like, I've never heard of them, and they'll have like 15,000 subscribers. Savvy Barbarian, 2.5 subscribers. Looks like a cool dude 2 years ago. Okay, so we were making videos at the same time. But his biggest videos were back when I first started. Oh, maybe I watched a video once upon a time. Who knows? Creature Lord? D&D. Oh, he was making D&D videos. That's cool. I've never done D&D. I would want to, but like, I just never have. I don't leave my house, so it's hard when you don't ever go outside. Anyway, okay, so is it a blend? It's a blend 2, and then probably add 2, and then animation, and then this is equip weapon, and this is unequip weapon, right? So you have that, and then this goes here, and then this goes here. And then you can just like, whoop, see that? So maybe it isn't blend, because that looked really bad. Well, actually what I'm trying to do is go with edit the filters, right? So what we want to do is we don't want to affect the legs or the spine. We just want it to fill selected children, enable filtering. We probably just want it to affect the arms, right? Like, let's see if we can do that. I've actually never used this feature before. I'm about to find out how well it works. We want all the fingers and stuff, yeah. So with the right shoulder, I could probably go left shoulder and then fill selected children, right? Okay, awesome. Okay. What does that look like? It doesn't work. Hang on a second. I mean, the arms get pretty messed up. What the heck? This is a one shot. This actually should be a one shot. Timescale, transition. I guess if I made it a transition, inputs, equip and unequip. This would be the way. This is the way. Equip, unequip, one shot. And then we can say this is unequip, right? And then we try the filters again. That didn't seem to work. Right arm shoulder, fill selected children. Left arm shoulder, fill selected children. Okay. Fire. Oh. What? Enable filtering? Tick. Fire. Music got loud. Oh! It worked. But I don't know if this is like the right way to go about it. It did work though, like that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. You're running. So what happens if you like are idle, right? Perfect. Perfect. It's not quite like we probably need a bit of a fade in time, right? Let's go with 0.2 seconds because it just sort of clipped down. It's pretty good, but it's not perfect. That's better, right? It goes down. Like, I think maybe we could clip the animation so that it just starts at like a higher level. Let's go back to running. I mean, it's not bad, eh? The thing is, this transition is probably not it. I probably need to think more about how this is going to work. It probably needs to be equip, unequip and equip, right? It's like a chain of things. So state machine, maybe, or it's just like how what can we choose here so that it just goes one to the next? Probably like maybe a transition that auto advances. Auto advance, right? Equip, unequip. It probably needs to be the other way around. Depending, I guess. Auto advance. Break loop at end. Let's see what happens. It doesn't automatically transition to the equip for the next, I don't think. It just goes to unequip. Try that again. No, I think it does play both, right? Give it like a crossfade time. Puts it away, and then he, I don't think they're automatically advancing. Hey, Azair, how are ya? Welcome to the stream. Transition, I don't think is the right one. Oof, this song is noisy. Gotta balance those. What can I use? I think you already answered this earlier, but you were going to add an IK system for the left arm to connect with the foregrip. It already does, my friend. It just doesn't look very good. Yeah, so I have a left hand connected node. You can see it's not quite where it's supposed to be. And I don't know, I'm not playing the IK. There it is. There you go. And so it sort of just floats there. From the angle of the camera, that's like good enough, you know, because you're like up here. So you can't tell that it's not 100% in contact. But yeah, we've got that. And so you can see we've got a function here that we pass in, basically attach weapon to bone. So we essentially cue it free, and we attach the right hand to the weapon, gets attached to a bone attachment. So the weapon is like hooked up to the right hand, and then the left hand is given a target node, which is the left hand target .get path. So we're getting there. Now we just need to figure out the other animation so that we can become experts at transitions. So the question is, I feel like I'm so close. It needs to be allow transition to self, X-Fade, sync, equip, unequip, unequip, equip. It does play the two, right? Okay. It plays both if we look at what happens there. But like we have to probably auto advance as well. That means they'll go on forever, right? Yeah, it just keeps going. Break loop at end. That doesn't help. Auto advance, turn that off. But it resets. So what does that say? This property can only be set in the expect IK. It doesn't have a description, but we know it plays both. So the question is, what does that look like on its own? Because it feels kind of weird, right? So we go to unequip. Unequip is first. Look how they're not like lined up with each other properly. Pay attention. So this I want to just call unequip. The weapon should disappear. Yeah, we'll work on that. The thing is, there's no right now there isn't anything to actually make the weapon go. We'll have to do that via code, because like we'll need to tell it what weapon. So what we want to do is we want to find out when this unequip animation ends, and then cue free the weapon that's in the hand, and then bring in the weapon that they're like changing to. Hey, Abo Eldamid. Welcome to the stream. Either way, sorry if I messed up your name. So, unequip, equip. And then fire. Puts it away, puts it out. So the thing is, can you play a test? I want to see. Yeah, okay, cool. We won't be able to change weapons. That won't be a part of it. But we have got our guy. He's running around. I'm not a huge fan of the run animation, but it is what it is. Like, I don't want to animate this myself. We're just using the default from Mixamo. And so like, that's the animation we get. So the biggest thing that I've done right now is sort of update the legs. I added some extra animations there. We can sprint, which looks pretty good actually. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then we can aim as well, which doesn't really do much. The thing that's probably good is there's an IK on the hip, so when we aim, the weapon follows the cursor. It's not 100%, but I've also noticed in certain games, hey look, you can see the hand floating. It's pretty common for the weapon to not 100% line up to where it's aiming. So yeah. We're there, we can jump, we can also boost. I checked against, what's the game called? I played it yesterday. Oh my goodness. The one that all the kids play. Epic Games? What the heck? Why do I forget? I'm getting so old, guys. Fortnite. I played Fortnite to test out and see how like my controller compared. The buttons that you press. It won't be multiplayer. I can't do that. I'm not capable. I'm sorry. Mass Effects? Yeah, I was playing Mass Effects, but yeah, I actually I tested. Sorry, my camera's not centered. I tested against Fortnite to sort of see how it felt and compared the difference, and I was noticing their jump actually just basically what theirs does. Like when you press jump, the character basically cuts to this like lifted position straight away. So maybe I should consider doing that, like just shortening that animation so that we're instantly in that position. And then the blend will take care of itself. It'll just lift his legs. So I could just cut straight to idle, full idle, potentially. But other than that, like things are looking pretty good. But yeah, I can't add multiplayer. I don't want to, guys. Multiplayer is scary. But yeah, so now we just need to figure out this animation tree. So I don't like the unequip. Can I look at this animation? I need to turn off the animation tree. So see how the weapon starts at the bottom? This is a problem for us, right? So this is the equip weapon. He needs to start from here, right? So I think we can actually do that in the time scale. So the equip weapon versus the unequip, right? Weapon away. Oh, same thing here. This needs to end here because we need to connect the two, right? So what's the time? Like 0.8 seconds. And then the equip weapon, we want to start at like hang on a second. 0.5, I guess? 0.5 feels good. Okay, 0.8, 0.5. So, in the animation tree, we have to go to a time seek node. I believe this allows us to seek in time. I believe. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Let's make it active. Time seek. Do we have any information on what the time seek node does? So what did I say? It needs to end at 0.8. Is it going to start from 0.8 if I do that though? The answer is yes, it starts from 0.8. Also, it reset. Did it reset? After it fired? I don't know. Yes, it does reset. Okay, that's a problem. So maybe not the option we want? That's weird. You'd think it would be set. I'd have to set it in code, and I don't like that. Every single time, which is a problem for us. What else do we have? Time seek, time scale, transition, blend tree, blend space, state machine, one shot. Use custom timeline. There we go. That's what we want. Timeline length, 1 second. Start offset. Let's go 0.8 timeline length. Let's see what happens now. This needs to start unequip. It just goes faster. We have information here. If use custom timeline is true, the offset Offset the start position of the animation. Start offset. So this is useful for adjusting the footsteps in 3D walking animations. Timeline length. It actually doesn't give any information on the different. Play mode forward. Am I just going to have to like customize the animation? I was convinced I could do it here. Ooh, we're getting into trouble. I'm just going to go straight to the output. Can we play it? Or is it just going to like one shot? In. Oh, it needs this one too. Wow. How can I just make it play something? Stretch timescale. Ah. That looks good. Feeling positive about this. Okay, that felt better. Yeah, okay, awesome. I think that's working. So now this one, I just go custom timeline. I don't want to stretch timescale. And the start offset, did I say 0.4? No, I said 0.5. And the timeline length, I don't know. We'll have to have a look at that. Perfect. This needs to be longer though. What's the length of the animation? Equip weapon is 1.6 seconds long. So I think if I come back to the animation tree and I go to equip, I say 1.6, then it should just play the animation from 0.5 to 1.6. Equip, unequip. 100%. Now, there's a problem still. And that is, this needs to reset at the end. It needs to go back to unequip. Now, auto advance worked. Allow transition to self? No. I guess I can just code that. Like I can request a transition to unequip. Because if I just auto advance both of them, it goes forever. Right? It's okay. I mean, it does prove that the animation works. Because he is putting it behind his back and then picking it up again. Now we just need to fade the two. Okay. I really wish the break loop at end would work for equip. But it does not. What about if I turned off reset? Ah. It doesn't look right, does it? No, that is not going to work. Okay, I think I'm just going to have to like code that transition in. What the heck? Oh, you know what it is? I have to press reset for this. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. We got it. The fading is not quite right. I don't think potentially, you know, I said we got it, but actually maybe we don't, because the animation player, So if we go to equip weapon, right, and we just seek along this, which we can't because this is active and I need to turn it off, and then go back to the animation player and make it active. Thank you. We probably want to cut it off around there, right? Like, we don't want it to go to this position because this, while this looks okay, the wrist is kind of messed up on this side, but like, we don't want to go to that position. We want to go to a ready position. So we probably want to cut it and then like maybe increase the crossfade. I don't know. It seemed kind of snappy, which is not good. So I guess 0.8 is actually no 0.9. Let's go with that. Go 0.95. Play mode forward, loop mode none. Unequip. Fire. I don't know about that. It didn't work. In fact, I feel like none of the stuff that I've done is working. I don't know. Oh, we're going to go back to equip. Why is it like that? Is there just no blend on the one shot? Is that actually, oh, you know what I want? Fade in time. I need a fade out time. There we go. Oh, I forgot that. Okay, so that's my problem. This can still be 0.1. I think that's fine. And then we move this to unequip and then we go fire. And now it looks a lot more reasonable. He pulled it up pretty good. Unequip, fire. The only thing I don't really like is this one starting from 0. Maybe it needs to start from like 0.2 or something like that. Change this to unequip and fire. Okay, that's good, I would say. We just have to make sure that each time we transition, we need to like request the unequip. Either games should get realistic to have less weapons to carry, or someone should invent a portable resizable weapon to carry. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's like one of the things you sort of have to suspend your belief when it comes to playing video games. Yeah, I could probably only carry 2 weapons at best and like not that much ammo because it's not feasible, right? Like, you're a human. But at the end of the day, your game character can carry like 10 weapons and like 5,000 rounds of ammo, depending on the game. Okay, so now we have the transition. Change weapon, I guess is what we're going to call it. So now we have that. We can get access to that and we can make a call to it. Wow, this is going to probably, you know, I thought I was going to be able to knock out the weapon manager in like 2 hours or something like that, but I think it's actually going to be way harder just simply because I don't know how the animation mixer works. It's my first time doing it. Games that have more than 3 weapons to manage stress me out. I mean, it is funny, like in most first-person shooters or like shooters in general, I tend to gravitate towards just one weapon, right? Like you have a weapon you like to use, and that's the one you use. You generally don't use anything else unless you absolutely have to. Like in Halo, it's like I always tend to gravitate towards the shotgun and just use that because like in the single-player campaign, you can just like one-shot everything. I will say with Halo, at least, I always felt like you had to like switch often because you'd run out of ammo. You just had to pick up an enemy weapon or whatever. So that, I guess, kept you on your toes. But you also only were able to equip 2 weapons at a time. So like, I guess that's not a good example. Anyway. 2 or 3 weapon limit. Yeah. Yeah, the Halo has a 2 weapon limit. I started talking, I realized that. I was thinking more about like having to choose between all the different kinds of weapons, but what you mean is like having access to every single one of those weapons at the same time. Yeah, it's a good point. Okay. Right, so we've got the transition change weapon. So now the player will need access to the animation mixer. So we've got the weapon manager, and it has a... Oh, I forget, I can't... Why is it like this? It's not right. Can't change the layout. Why not? It's because I've got scaling on the editor. I know why, I just don't like it. Okay, so it wants access to the animation tree. We get access to the animation tree, and then in the weapon manager, when we change weapons, we can request a transition. So theoretically, let's just continue with this sort of pseudocode. What we want to do is we want to, when we call change weapons, we need to get access to the animation player to request, is that what I called it? Animation player, and request a transition. Now the way that we do that is, I forget, we're going to sprint, animation tree, request. I should probably change the name of the thing here to animation tree. It's a little bit clearer about what we're doing then. Tree, and then you go and you have to do a transition request like that, parameters /state /transition request. Only this needs to change to animation tree parameters or one shot. We should probably rename that. Request fire. Do I not get access to that? Test character? Interesting. It must be there somewhere. It's just not visible in the animation tree. Let's bring this back. Let's rename this to change weapon. Trigger change weapon, I guess. Now, how do I get access to that transition? Can you not have more than one in the tree? Trigger change weapon. Request, fire, fade out. Run, blend, state, current state idle, transition. Change weapons, it's literally here. I'm an idiot, never mind. Okay, so change weapon. So parameters change weapon, and then you have to transition to unequip and then fire the one shot. So those are the two steps we need to take. So go back to the player. And let's just hide the animation here. And weapon manager. So parameters, I forget everything. I'm an idiot. Parameters, trigger change weapon. No, we want to go to transition request. So it is just change weapon. I believe I did that in the casing. Might be. You can't see them on your character. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just one of the limitations of gaming. I mean, think about all those games like Escape from Tarkov, PUBG, all those like military sim games where you can like organize your backpack. Man, you got so much stuff in your backpack. It's crazy. And it all fits. Like apparently you can just drop like a million different things in there and it's no problems. I don't know about you guys, but my backpack definitely couldn't fit a bunch of assault rifles, pistols, and all those ammo. I could probably manage one. I mean, I live in Australia, so I can't manage any. Alrighty. Animation tree. Change weapon. Did I even spell that right? I'm all over the shop. See, I don't like this. Why is this like that? It should be lowercase. This is like classic old-fashioned me typing. It shouldn't look like that. Change. Oh, okay, so like, maybe we call this weapon state? Or is that going to be confusing? Probably not. Trigger change weapon should be... Yeah, I think that's fine. Change weapon trigger. I don't know about. Okay, so then we come here. Let's just, we can minimize this, right? Keep these open so I can see them. And then we can go back to the weapon, resource weapon manager. Change a weapon. So we want to go to this weapon state transition request and then set that equal to unequip, right? You have to use the one here, the way it's spelled there. I don't know, is that spelled correctly? It looks weird, eh? Unequip. It's probably 2 words, that's the difference. Okay, and then we will just need to call, so this, and then I actually don't know what the API is. So parameters, change weapon trigger, and then I forgot to close that. I guess you just like, is it .file? I don't actually know what the function call is here. Yeah, you have like fire as a choice, so I'm assuming that's what it is. And then we don't change weapons, so that part here happens in the exit or enter. This one here, although, okay, pause. Does this need to happen in the weapon manager? Like, does it really? Because like, I've already got a function, right? Like, hold on, let's just copy this. I think I'm going about this wrong. I'm thinking about this with my old head. I need to be thinking about this with my new head, because I'm emitting a signal to a different script which handles all the what do I call it? I call it the animation controller, right? Animation control, right? Because like, I've got a lot of IK and you sort of need to know like what to do with it, and it's a lot, right? So this particular script, we're starting the IK, we're rotating the hip, right? So we're getting information from the camera, I don't like this one either. On camera rotation. It should just be called on camera rotation. We're rotating the hip, and we've got the IK active. So this is when you sprint, because the sprint, you don't want the IK to be active. It doesn't look good, right? So you got a target influence, which is just like 0. And if it's like active, then it's 1. We're just like making it between 1 and 0. I think you could probably get that from the bool, but whatever. I need to test that. And then we're tweening the influence, right? Back and forth when we're sprinting, and then also when we're changing weapons, right? So I've got an on weapon manager, on weapon changed signal, and this is where we're passing in the new weapon. So that's how we know when to load the weapon. You know, when I was scrolling before and the weapon was changing, we could do the animation change here. Like, it's fine. We have access to the animation player. We don't, which is kind of crazy to think about. The state machine is doing most of that. Makes me wonder if it should. Maybe it needs to just emit a signal. Something to think about. Test character. Okay, here we have the animation tree. Right. So what we're doing here is we're instantiating the new weapon, right? We're queuing through the old one. So what we want to do is sort of just split this up into steps, right? So when we attach the weapon to the bone, maybe that function needs to be changed. Maybe I can do it here. So I sort of load up the weapon, but like, what we could do is we could say animation tree, unequip, and then fire, right? That'll trigger this playback, right? We need a callback for this, like back of hand motion. And then we need to call this function, attach weapon to bone. That's what we need to do. So the question is, what does that look like? I guess we can get the animation tree and the node, or the animation finished, connect it. So now the question is, what does this actually tell us? Like, I actually don't know. Let's have a look. Print a nim name, right? So we should be getting like a lot of information from that, right? All the time. Parameter change based on object animation tree. Invalid access to parameters / change weapon trigger on base. Change weapon trigger? Invalid access to property or key. Parameters. Change weapon trigger. Request. I need to check the API for that one. Touch up. What is it? It's a one shot, right? Animation node one shot. Oh my god. Why is it like this? Okay. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, I mean, I guessed. What the heck? Int. It's still not happy. Invalid assignment of property or key parameter change weapon with value of type int on base object type animation tree. Yes, okay. Why are you like this? Still have that open. So many things. One shot. Okay, resource. Oh, request. I forgot that bit. Okay. Goosey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. How are you? Okay, so we are changing weapons. We're putting it neatly behind our neck, which makes total sense. And obviously the weapon change is happening before we even trigger the animation. But I'm pretty happy with how the animation looks. We just need to get the loading of the animation. Right, so I was trying to get like jump up, jump down. Okay, so we don't actually get a printout from that. Do we get anything? Okay, we get stuff from the jump animation. And then run, idle, both don't trigger that. And neither does this. So how are we going to know when it's finished? The chat is working. Yeah, of course, man. When is the chat ever not working? That's good to hear. You said that your Twitch was broken the other day. Is that what you're referring to? Twitch chat was broken? Okay. So we don't get anything back from this. So how do we know when to run it? Ultimate question. I don't know. If we don't get a call back, then what do? We could test the length of the animation. So, what we could do. Goose gun. Maybe I'll put it in this. Maybe I'll put this in. I can put the goose gun in. We have to animate it though, which is kind of a problem. Okay. Alright. Let's put our thinking caps on, everybody. Let's think about how we can get ourselves out of this one. We don't need this. It's not helpful. Disconnect that. Mixer updated? What are we gonna get? Animation tree? What is this? Emitted when the anim player is changed. Well, that's not helpful. The signal is not emitted if the animation is looping. None of those animations are looping. Libraries have changed. Animation started. I mean, realistically, I just need to find out the animation tree, animation, and then I can just like find out the timeline length. We know it's 0.8 seconds, right? In fact, it's less than that, it's 0.6. What if we made this like 0 again? Right? What does that look like? I don't like it as much, right? Like the hand down thing does not work, right? Let's make it 0.1. What does that look like? I'm trying to like work out what the balance is. No good. 0.2. That's where we were last time. Much better. Now, I mean, it's good enough, right? Look at the left hand. The left hand goes like backwards. We're going to have to disable IK when that happens. Like, we have to turn it off. It's just not... We can fade it out and fade it back in. And then that way it'll look normal. I got 34 followers. I did nothing. Me too. How strange. I thought it was a bot. Or someone trolling me. Something like that. Okay, so... Yeah, I just, like, on Monday, when I started the stream, I had a whole bunch of followers come in and follow me. And they all had, like, random names and stuff, and I just sort of assumed that, like, it was either a troll or a bot or something. I don't know. We just have to roll with it. I can't do much about it. Anyway, it's not about that. What are we going to do? How are we going to get to this? Animation node animation? Can I get to this information? I guess that's the question. Ooh, look at all these errors. Parameters, animation mixer, root motion, process callback. Audio translate, physics interpolation. Is there a way to find out? Advanced expression node, a nim player. Is there a way, I wonder, to get to the animation, you know? Like, I don't know. We could just hard code it, which is an option, right? It could be hard coded. That's fine. It's only going to be that one animation. It's not going to be any more than that. Like at the end of the day, you got free. Nice work. Let's just try hard coding it for now. We know it's 0.6 seconds. Just create a variable called change weapon wait time. It's going to be an int. Actually, it needs to be a float. Let's get rid of this. We'll make it equal to probably, yeah, what did I say? 0.6? 0.6 seconds. Maybe even 0.7. Something like that. And now we can just go and call a function right here at the bottom here. Let's just make some space so we can see it a bit better. And we'll say await. Can we await? I don't really like using await, but we can use await. Get tree dot create timer. Pass in the change weapon wait time and timeout, and then attach weapon to hand, to load, to bone. What does that look like? Not bad. Not bad at all. I would say probably the biggest issue we have right now is that it's very quick, but that's more of a problem with the animations that I've chosen to use. And because we're having to work around the limitations of that, like I would say that's passable. If you played a game, especially an indie one, and it looked like that, I don't think many people would complain too much. Okay, so let's look at the left hand, how it's going like really wonky. And we will also need to fade out that. We'll create a function. We'll also need to do a callback on this to tell the weapon manager that the weapon is changed. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What the heck? What the heckin' dog? The drop frames have gone up. Boogie recently launched his first game in Godot. Awesome, dude. You should jump into the Discord. It's in the description, and in the promote yourself Discord, drop the link and hang around, because every month I do a gaming stream where I play games from the community. So if you want me to play your game, join the Discord, and I'll let you know when I'm doing the next one. It's going to be at the end of this month. So I'll probably be doing it on the 27th. Actually, no, I stream on Saturdays, the 28th. 28th of September will probably be the next one. No guarantees. I'm not super consistent, but it will be around that time, you know? Yeah, awesome. All right. Okay, so we need a function. That's right. I said I need a function to tween. So it's basically like this. What I do want to know, if I go and I print, this is me being super lazy, I print active as an int. Is it 1 and 0? Active. Can I just use 1 and 0? I'm just like pressing this a bunch of times. It is 1 and 0. Yeah, I mean, I can use that. So instead of doing this, I can go target influence equals int active, right? I guess I just go float active. Let's just comment this out for a second. I ran out of sprint. I need to like create a UI. It's like Free Fires. I don't know what that is. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. That's a lot cleaner in terms of code. So we can create a... Oh, we got a follower. Oh no, Goose Fat rated with one viewer. Did you just do that for attention? It comes in so loud. Or Fortnite, yeah. Yeah, it is definitely probably going to be compared to Fortnite. Oh, well, nevertheless, I appreciate it. Goosey. Okay, so what I want to do is hip IK. So the thing is, I could also create like a function that takes any tween, because right now like I'm doing hip IK, right? So this function could actually take an IK. So I could create like a function called deactivate or like fade set. Okay, set IK influence, right? And then we could also have the IK node. IK, what is it called? I guess, yeah, it's skeleton IK. Skeleton IK. And that would be a skeleton, right? Oh, I've done that wrong. Skeleton IK 3D. And then also we would pass in the active, which is a bool, right? And it returns void. And so now we can do all this, target influence, and then we can just go target tween property, and instead of going hip IK, we can pass in skeleton IK and then target influence. We could probably also create another variable for the time, so the fade time while I'm here, and it's going to be a float, and we'll actually make it equal to 0.2 as a default, so I don't always have to pass it in. Right, cool. So now I have a new function. I'll comment this out just to begin with. And this one here goes set IK influence not active. It also wants the thing, so we'll pass in hip IK and not active, because like we want to do the opposite when we are sprinting, which would be true for sprinting. We want to set the IK to 0, right? Let's test it that. And that looks like it's working. Great. So we can delete this function, eat the code. No, I'll fax it to you. Send me your fax number. I'll send you a fax of the code so you can eat it. Okay, so all right, I got a bit lost there. We want to fade out the influence and then fade it back in. So right before we set the wait time, in fact, right as we call this animation, we want to set IK influence. And do we have access to that IK, left-hand IK? Yeah, we do. You don't have a fax machine? What? How do you not have a fax machine? I'm just kidding. I don't have one either. I can't fax it to you. I'll email it to you and you can print it and then you can eat the code. Left-hand IK, false, right? And the fade time is fine. We'll just leave it as is. And then right after the await, we want to go back. Just set influence, but this time it'll be true. Let's see how that works. Okay. Not exactly what I was going for. And I don't really understand why it would do that. Because it still has a target. That's stumped me, I'll be honest with you. Right, okay, let's get back into the lab and start testing. Like, it should just go back to its regular position. Is it to do with the filters? Did I mess something up there? Highlight my message? Oh, are you trying to... Yeah, see, the thing is, Goose, I'm not looking at the chat from Twitch, so even if you did do that, which you did do, that worked, it doesn't highlight on my end, so save your points. Plus, you're the only person on Twitch chatting, so you don't really need to waste your points for that. I'll see it anyway. Whoops. Okay, so animation tree. Now here's the question, right? Right now we're playing this and we request fire, and it is doing that weirdo thing where it's sort of passing in behind the back. You can look at that, see how it does that. If we go to unequip and then fire, it sort of passes through. It's not super noticeable on screen, but like, we want to fix that. So now left hand is active, but we set the influence to nothing. We go back to the animation tree and we request unequip and then we fire and it does do that. Why does it do that? Do we need to instead stop like the left hand IK? Override tip basis? Maybe that's got something to do with it. You're updating your game? That's awesome, dude. I'll play it again. I still don't really understand what I'm supposed to do, but I'll play it either way. So yeah, could this be related to the mixing? Oh, where's the animation tree? Left arm, left hand, it's all there. It's mixed in, so it shouldn't really be, it should work. Like a link in the credits? Okay, cool. So yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So maybe it's gonna need to be, maybe I need to turn off override tip bases. Let's try that. Look in the credits. Okay. Doesn't change anything. I find that really bizarre, right? Active. I guess you just, if you turn it off, it's gonna work. No. Is that just a part of the animation? Hang on a second. That's just the animation. I'm tripping, otherwise. Unequip? It is. Yeah, he puts his arm down. We don't want that. That looks like shit. Whose idea was that? Okay. Left hand. Have you ever seen Fat Dino's videos? Guy makes games like it's nothing. I feel like I have seen his games before. feel like I've seen him do like a Jetpack Joyride 2 years ago. He barely makes videos. I don't think he makes them like nothing. He hasn't posted. Yeah, I think it does take effort because he doesn't post that often. But when he does, damn, does he get views. I like how in every single one of his videos, he's got the RTX on, except for these two, right? I like the Jetpack Joyride one, but RTX is on. Like, it's so stupid because it's just like, oh, we made it in like 3D asset flip graphics, you know? It was a good video.
Made with one of the most advanced game engines, and this is my history of remaking it. Remaking a game might sound like quite a complicated task, so my first goal will be working.
That being said, Jetpack Joyride is not super complicated.
Prototype with three main aspects: endlessly moving player.
My question is like, how does a video like get like 1.8 million views?
World generation.
Because like the way I feel about how YouTube works is like you have to be like super high energy and like saying all these things really quickly. But this is not like this. He's just going slow. He's chill.
And functioning obstacles. So let's start from the first one. I love how Jetpack Joyride approaches players' movement. It feels really smooth and fluent. I firstly tried to use engine's default physics, but it was just clunky and weird. After, I decided to handle movement with my own code.
Blueprints. Ugh. Yuck. Who uses blueprints? I made you realize. He hasn't. I made you to realize it. I don't understand what you mean.
It was even more clunky and weird, but finally, I achieved behavior I like. To make things just a bit more pleasing to the eye, I added some simple animations, but we will definitely tweak it later. Now, when we have our version of endlessly moving parry, let's implement another important aspect of the game: obstacles. There are three main kinds of obstacles: different types of lasers, rockets, and beams.
I've never played Jetpack Joyride. I've never played it. Was it a Flash game? Was it a mobile game? What was it? Can someone explain? Endless Runner, created by Halfbreaker, was released in iOS in September 2011, and I was an Android user until 2021. So it got ported the year after, and I still didn't play it because I don't play mobile games very often. The only mobile games that I really play is like I used emulators, right? Like, because, you know, emulators and like the odd RPG kind of thing, but I never really stuck with them. That's it. That's all I've played. Oh yeah, there was a game. There was an RPG. It was like a Zelda Wind Waker clone that I played through the entire way through because I got like one of those like controller attachments for my phone. And like I was able to play it, like, and it was one of those things that actually inspired me to start trying to make games because I was like, this is like, people make trash games for mobile, right? Like really trashy games. Like, what if you just made like good games for mobile? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's an underserved market there, but I actually think potentially it's not an underserved market because there is a lot of like single player games that you can play. Like, you can get all the Final Fantasies on mobile. You can play a bunch of different Hitman 2 for GameCube. Is that on mobile? Yeah, you know, stuff like that. So like there is a lot of high quality single player games on mobile. And the thing that pisses me off more than anything is that they don't support controllers. Like what the heck? Or even the fact that like one of my biggest gripes, Genshin Impact, a game that I sometimes play. The mobile version does not support mouse, keyboard, or controller input, which is crazy. It's mostly a single player game, right? Like I've never played it with anybody else. And like my tablet is basically a laptop. I've said this before. Like it's an 11-inch screen. I can connect my mouse and keyboard to it. Like what the heck, man? You know? You should be able to like use those devices with your games. I don't know why people don't build in support for it. It's not that hard. It's so crazy. Nice. Let's keep going.
Firstly, I implemented probably the easiest one, lasers.
I mean, he does
I
look
can
good.
configure their size.
Do you reckon his background is like 3D design? Does he say? And like potentially not game development? Or like game development but from a 3D design perspective?
And make them rotatable in
This looks
runtime,
awesome.
which is pretty convenient. The next one are rockets. We should just spawn them off screen and make them move towards the player. A rocket can be destroyed once it crossed the left edge of the screen. There is also a warning widget in original game, so the player can react to the approaching rocket. I implemented same kind of behavior in my version.
Honestly, I'm sorry, but like I don't know how people do blueprints. It sounds like such a miserable thing.
And finally, the last obstacle kind, beams. They appear on the screen from two sides and instantly warns the player with tiny beams, which don't hurt you for now. But soon, deadly beams will appear and kill the player if he doesn't react correctly. They can appear on different places and I can control it through the code. I guess we are done with obstacles. There will definitely be some tweaks later though. Now, let's move on to the third important aspect for our prototype, world generation. But firstly, let me introduce you to the sponsor of this video, Core. If you want to learn how to make games, Core is a great way to start.
Is Core still active? That was a big thing. People were doing sponsors for that all the time.
Core is a new free game creation tool that was designed to make game dev process much easier. With Core, you can create multiplayer games with no
telling no code. Yeah, but like I would rather write code. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I do programming most of the time. And like it just seems so much easier to write code than it is to like get a bunch of blocks and put them together in like, I don't know, not my thing, but you know, it is what it is.
I will break up the world into smaller sections, world chunks. Once the player reaches end of one chunk, the next one will be instantly spawned.
Side note, see this shot here?
I will break up the world into
crazy,
smaller
right?
sections, world chunks.
So like he's showing you what it does in engine, right? Here.
Once the player...
This angle here is like, this is specifically for YouTube. So like, if I was going to do that in Godot, it would be a lot harder because I'd need to make a tool script to like actually visualize what I was doing. It's kind of funny.
Player reaches end of one chunk, the next one will be instantly spawned. But since the player can only see one chunk at a time, there is no need to have several of them in memory, so we can delete a chunk once the player left it. I have implemented similar logic in Subway Surfers remake, and it worked out pretty well. Now, when we have world generation done, we can actually remake some of world pieces from the original game. The pieces I chose to remake are laboratory, storage rooms.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that's cool. We will play it at the end of the month. We'll put that on the list. Link this download page to your itch account. What? You do not have access to this page? Oh, is it like is it like a draft? Okay, cool. Okay.
Kind of sci-fi bunker. And underwater tunnels.
Yeah, this guy has to be like a 3D artist. There's no, I could not do
Since
this.
different world chunks use
I suppose
different
that's why he has
post-process and
847,000 subscribers and I have 7.
lighting settings, I also implemented some kind of blending system between them. Now, when we have some kind of beautiful world, our dummy doesn't really fit there anymore. So I added a guy model from my Subway Surfers remake. I guess this is shared game universe now. I did make different kinds of obstacles previously, but I still have obstacles generation system to implement. I didn't really find some kind of pattern in original game, so I guess spawning a random obstacle every time will work just fine. For now, I only spawn different types of lasers to test the system, but I will surely add other obstacles later. Also, I noticed that coins in original game are definitely involved in generation algorithm. Although we don't have coins yet, I can make them. Here is a single Dyna coin and
Coins. Apparently this is a watch
here is a
time.
coin block I made. There are different shapes of coin blocks presented in Jetpack Joyride. I copied some of them and made a special one. All that remains is to add coins to obstacle generation system and spawn them in the world just like other kinds of obstacles. To make things a bit prettier, I added particle effect when player collects coins. I also noticed that our Barry still slides on the surface, even though he shouldn't use his jetpack when he is not flying. I added additional state in Barry's animation machine, so now he correctly runs on the surface instead of magically levitating. Another problem with Barry is that he still doesn't have his jetpack. Well, let's fix it. I made this jetpack model something similar to original Barry's jetpack. And since it is more like a machine gun in the original game, I should also make it so. Firstly, I wanna spawn bullets when character is moving up. Here I also use line tracing
It's just spawning out of nowhere.
to determine bullets' direction, and most importantly, collision points with landscape. Then, let's attach
Dude, I don't know if I'm rude, but if I am, just tell me. No, dude, I don't notice anything. I don't feel that way. You guys can just like chat.
Jetpack
Like, I probably like I'm a little bit like strange. I'm not going to interpret it that way. We're all like
model
we're
to
all
player
friends here,
character.
I guess.
It shouldn't be static though. Let's make it a
I think people often think like, and this is not something that I've noticed on stream, but I actually noticed in my real life that people think I'm like kind of mad and angry when I'm not. So I don't know. Like maybe it's just me. Like I give off that vibe. Like what is it they say for women? Like resting bitch face, something like that. But for dudes, resting dick face.
life by simulating
I don't
jetpack
I'm
recoil.
chill.
I will simply
I'm having
add some
fun.
oscillation
I'm
for
enjoying this.
jetpack.
Like,
It might
otherwise I
not
wouldn't
be a
do it.
big difference, but it will be just a bit more realistic. Finally, I added some particles when bullet collides with a landscape. They differ for every landscape type. For example, metal and concrete floor have different impact particles. This is the final version of Barry, so let's work a bit on game cycle and implement player's death. Since I'm kind of tired of this project, I will simply copy that handling from my Subway Surface remake. I mean, it's good enough, right? The world still feels a bit empty and we still miss something from original game.
Resting B face when people think I'm angry at them. Yeah, I mean, it happens to me all the time. Like, I think people think I'm being like kind of aggressive, but I'm not. I don't know how to communicate. Or like there's something about the way I talk or the way I look, I don't know.
Scientist model from my library and implemented pretty simple behavior. By default, scientists are working, but when they see a player, they might decide to run away, surrender, or throw themselves down. Of course, I also added ragdoll simulation once they got hit by a bullet, rocket or Barry himself. One of the last major features
It's like
I
an
added
immovable
was
object
score
that just hits
system.
the other
Firstly,
guys and they
I
just fall
wanted to
over.
simply add a score
Football
widget
player.
to the corner of the screen, but it was kinda, boring. So instead, I decided to render player's score right in the world, in the end of every world chunk. It adds a bit of immersion opposite to widget on the screen. After that, I wanted to implement some kind of main menu. Just like with score system, I didn't want to make a 2D widget on the screen, so instead, I modeled a bunch of letters and put them right in the game world. When player presses a button, Barry will break into the level and the game will begin. Speaking of immersion though,
very cool.
I added sounds from original game. And yes, it does feel like something is missing, so I slapped original soundtrack on top of it. And this is my tribute to one legendary mobile game.
I never expected that kind of music. Like I said, I've never played Jet. So this doesn't have any kind of nostalgic value to me, but like it's a very good. It looks amazing. I reckon this guy must be like a 3D artist or something.
Hi, I'm
Create games or subscribe or I will eat you. Twitter? I'm kind of scared of Twitter. Like, am I going to get like strange things on my Twitter profile recommended to me? I can't view the profile because I'm not logged in. That's fine. We can play it. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, really amazing creator, that's for sure. 2 months ago, 32,000. This is what happens when you stop making mobile game remakes in RTX and instead make your own game. Oh, he's making his game in Godot. That's awesome. Let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Fat Diana, and I'm addicted to video games. My favorite games are action RPGs. I generally spend thousands of hours in games like Path of Exile and Diablo. I love action RPGs so much, I just have to try and make my own.
Nice.
Today, I wanna share my first steps of making a 2D loot-based action RPG game codenamed Tower. The game takes place in a dark world, where you are playing as an outlander trying to investigate mysteries of a tower in a
Okay, this guy's definitely an artist, right? Like, there's just no way.
village abandoned by gods. While
Personally, I reckon it's the best, like, indie developer pipeline is artist to game developer because they have the ability to do the art. Whereas, like me, I just went, like, developer and I'm not an artist. So it's like, fuck. Like, how do I make something that looks good? It's the only thing that really matters. No one cares about how it works under the hood. People just care about how it looks. Gamers care about how it looks. It's the only thing that's important.
climbing the tower, be ready to kill countless monsters and get some nice loot. I will be using a sprite for everything pixel
2D. Interesting choice.
art and Godot with GDScript as my game engine of choice. To start with, I have some very basic features like movement and collisions already implemented. I also made some pixel art environment pieces and this character just for showcase purposes.
It's still loading. I don't know what you're talking
In
about.
this
You see-
devlog, I want to focus on two essential systems: level generation and pathfinding. Procedural level generation can be extremely challenging, so it was really important for me to lay the foundations. It's not uncommon to use separate level generators for different things: open terrains, dungeons, villages, and so on. But luckily, I don't have plans
Procedure generation sucks. Just make it like, I don't know.
to
just
generate
make it
vast
normal.
open terrains.
Too hard.
The key thing I need is a dungeon-style level generator. I have made several constraint solvers for dungeon generation in the past. I didn't find them particularly promising, so I never really finished to build any of them, but you can see some of the results on the screen. The thing I really want to
Oh,
talk
your
about
game's
though
still loading. Is what it is. Maybe you need faster internet, Goose.
is the algorithm I am using now. Let's start from a big square, then divide it on smaller
Oh, I'm bored of this, but this is cool. I hope he does well. So this is just devlog number 1. And he doesn't have a Steam page yet. Rookie mistake. And face reveal as well. Anyway. Okay. So we've determined that this weapon... Oh, right. This is what I was going to do, because like the left hand kind of sucks. So I was just not going to take the left hand. I'm just not going to use that forearm, left shoulder. Let's see how much we can get away with. Realistically, I never noticed this when we were doing it before. I wonder if it's... okay, so we set this to unequip. Fire. Man, it just doesn't look that good, eh? This sucks, actually. Like, we don't really want... Like, if I play this... Oh, maybe that's okay, to be honest. Instead of it going down... Because it was going down, like, really straight before. What happens if we don't filter the shoulder? So we don't filter... We filter everything but the shoulder. So we only include the shoulder. Yep, maybe we can get away with that. That seems fine, to be honest. Actually, you know what? Let's go back to the other one, because this one you can see it and it doesn't look good. So the other one, it's hidden in camera, and I think it's okay that way. Sometimes this is just a matter of deciding what you can get away with, right? I mean, it is just for a YouTube tutorial. So, like, at the end of the day, I'll probably just have to tell people, like, you're going to have to, like, figure it out for yourself, like, what works and what you like to see. Good enough. And what the heck? The IK is not working. It's not active. Override tip bases. That's probably what I've forgotten. You always have to override the tip. That's better. Okay. So we can change weapons. Now we just need a way to control the state, realistically. So that's going to be what we have to figure out. So, do we do it? This tip, UP. Yes. So with the weapon manager, right, we've got the on weapon changed, and in fact, we don't really need exit and exit current, like, because the animation player just handles that. But we probably want to know when it's active. So maybe. How do we know, you know, if it's active or not? Do we create a variable for the weapon? If it's inactive or active, available to shoot, unavailable? Like, how do we do this? Do we do it with a enumerated state machine? Hey, and that looks quite good already. Yeah, to be fair, like, I would never really do this myself. I just wanted to challenge it. You know, like, it's like content, I guess. At the end of the day. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming out. Like, it looks pretty convincing. Some of the blending's not quite right. Like, if you look at the way the legs move, I don't know if I can do anything about that. But we're getting there. So, when we change weapons, we don't want to be able to shoot. Not that you can shoot right now, but like, you will eventually be able to shoot. And we don't want you to be able to do that while this is happening. Also, I'm realizing that I'm going to need IK for the right hand, but we'll come to that later. For sure. We're for sure going to need that. Okay. Oh man, this is gonna be challenging. I really want to set this in a way that's like quite elegant. So if we have an enumerator and we've got like a couple of different like changing, like what's the state? Changing weapons, we're firing, we're reloading. You like it less than others, yeah. Third person really needs axes and swords. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, like most of the third person stuff that I play is like RPG fantasy. Mass Effect is probably the only 3D like third person shooter that I have played and like absolutely loved. I can't really even think of any others. Like I never really got into what was that game? Gears of War. I never really played that. There was that one recently which was Hell, what was it called? Hell something. Assassin's Creed, yeah, like it's RPG. Well, it's action RPG. Helldivers, right? How was there a Helldivers 2? Oh wait, that was the Helldivers that came out. Helldivers 2, people really seem to like it, although they've turned recently. Dude, that's crazy. It's gone from mostly positive to mostly negative. What happened? This game is the equivalent of watching someone you love slowly asphyxiate. The developers hit the lottery out of the box on this and have the tragic mistake of listening to the wrong voices in the community. This is a PvE game, and anyone who recommends a nerf to any gun is a saboteur to this game's full potential. It almost seems like the devs don't even know why the game was fun. Jeez. Talk about scathing review. The game, when was this posted in the past 30 days? The game definitely has fun aspects to it, but please refer to my first sentence. If this review is fortunate to be read by someone who has the influence of the dev team, then you have one shot to get this game back on track to its original glory. Roll back all weapon nerfs since launch when the Illuminati arrives. Like, what is that? The data shows you have spikes every patch, but the community shrinks shortly after. Damn. Updated. Either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. Balancing weapons out so you don't have people getting kicked because they're not using the meta. Damn. That sucks, man. Yeah, I hate it when you get kicked for not like playing what you should be playing. That sucks. Can't experiment. I really don't like games where people will punish you for not knowing what you're doing. It sucks. Changing, transitioning. Transitioning. That's too long. I don't like that. I'm not going to write trans because that would be weird. Let's just go back to changing. So we have a couple of states, right? Ready? Current weapon state equals, I guess ready? I feel like I could do enums better. Goose, we'll have to play your game at the end of the month when we do the game stream. I feel like, I don't know, I've forgotten how to do enums. There's a better way. I suppose it doesn't matter right now. Helldivers 2 is a case study for a game dev of how not to change a game based on community feedback. It's really interesting because I never played it, but like obviously people loved it and then it just disappeared. So I guess like they just made changes to try and like make it more fair, but ended up like hurting the game, which is really sad to see. So, I mean, you know, you can only do so much. It's like, I can't really blame them for trying to make it like a more balanced game, but like at the end of the day, like what was fun and what changed? Like, does balancing the weapons make the game less fun? Or is it just like this idea of like what's really, Game Pass. Blech. Blech. Game Pass. Did they introduce something like that? Like a season pass? Let's see. They got a message to the community. This is actually quite old. Well, let me turn the music down because I can't hear myself think. Okay, I want to directly address the feedback you've raised about the escalation of the Freedom Update. We've spent the last week listening to feedback reflecting on the path ahead for Helldivers 2 and how we want to continue developing the game. In short, we didn't hit our target with the latest update. Some things we just didn't get right and others more fundamental inconsistencies in our approach. The game balance and game direction. All of that is on us and we are going to own that, as with many of you have pointed out, and we agree that matters most now is action, not talk. And to that end, we intend to do some of the updates. So in the next 60 days, so balance seems to be a really big issue. Not balance for the sake of balance. So they made the game harder. Like some stuff just sucks now. I guess they nerfed something that was really fun. Update how the fire damage mechanic works and tweak how the flamethrower serves as a close range support weapon. Rework gameplay, prevent excessive ragdolling. I don't know what that means. Rethink our design approach to primary weapons to create a plan for making combat more engaging. Bug fixes, performance, rework changes. I still don't understand what went wrong. I think I might need a video on this. Someone needs to explain to me what happened to Helldivers 2. What went wrong? Problems? Fail. Dead game. Oh, they nerfed the player's weapons. 90% of players lost. Oh, Bellular has something. I guess we can watch that. Don't mind a bit of Bellular. Helldivers update made me quit the game.
So Helldivers just got their new big escalation of freedom update. You know what, guys? I'm gonna be honest. That shit is so ass. This was supposed to be the big one, bro. The big dog update. They had this wild trailer where they showed a new planet, a new mission type, and even new enemies. And instead of being the big update that saved the game like we all thought it would be, it just pissed off the entire player base, bro. This update is the straw that finally broke the camel's back. I can't do it anymore, bro. It is so over. It's never been this over, bro. I'm uninstalling this shit. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it, bro. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I have actively avoided saying anything negative about Arrowhead and their game because I had faith in them boys. But it's gotten to a point now, I feel like they're dead ass trying to sabotage their own game, bro. They don't like their own game. They either hate their game or they hate the players. Because at this point, I don't know what the fuck they got.
They made their money. It's not a live service game, you know? They got the bag. They just like shut it down.
Going on. Now, I don't want you guys to think I'm sitting here.
Is it peer-to-peer? I'm assuming it's peer-to-peer. It's not server-based. I don't actually know. Who knows?
Just doom posting about this game or just blind hating for no reason at all. I know nowadays a lot of fan bases can't take criticism in any form. 2024 has brought out the meat writers in a way that I've never seen in my life. And I know some of you will defend this game till your dying breath like good little boys. Before you start coming at me, just know I used to love this game and I still don't think it's a bad game. At the end of the day, it's a $40 game. For a $40 game, I feel like I've gotten my money's worth. I've gotten hundreds of hours out of this game. Good gameplay, good experiences with friends. For those of y'all that don't follow me on TikTok, I was going...
Actually, you know what? That's the reason why I didn't play it. It was $100. It was so expensive.
crazy. Anytime there was an update, anything that changed in the game, I was on that, bro. I was covering that. There's still fun to be had in this game, but the problems at this point just outweigh the good. Everything gets to a point, bro. I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship and I've got Stockholm syndrome, because at this point, the idea of playing Helldivers is better than actually playing the game. Apart from the nerfs and shit, this game has real legit core issues, no matter how much the meat writers will try to deny. I've heard it more lately than I've ever heard it in my life, bro. Skill issue, just have fun. Game good on higher difficulty. None of that changes the fact that there
I go to bed. Okay, good night, Goosey. Have a good sleep.
are core issues with this game. I've played on Helldive difficulty a bunch of times myself, bro. It's not enjoyable, but why is this the update that did it for me? Why are all the players so pissed off right now? And why am I finally giving up on this game? Well, I'm glad you asked, bro, because I got a whole manifesto here. This might come off a bit ranty, I don't know. It's all facts. I got passion in my message, okay? The big first issue with this game that everybody can agree upon, the balance, bro. Balancing in this game is straight up god-awful. It all started with the railgun nerf around the time the game came out. It was the most popular stratagem weapon, bro. So they nerfed it because they got this whole thing about not wanting people to have meta builds. People were pissed at the time, but I defended Arrowhead. I was like, you know what, bro? Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta make other things stronger, not make the thing that makes the game easy better. Like, yeah, I don't know. Balance is hard, right? But I always think, like, you have to buff stuff. The devs can't even play on the hardest difficulty. Yeah, I mean, I think you can't really blame developers for not being, like, not everyone's like that top 1%. Like, you can't really expect that. But I guess you would want to know, and I guess it's the problem with kind of a newer game. Like, you want to be able to find people who can play on that difficulty, potentially employ them to like test the game, you know, so that you can get a better idea and listen to the people who are in that skill level and find out what they think you should do. I don't know. Like, obviously you need to like, don't do everything they say, but like, listen to them when it comes to like what they think the game needs if they are like a top 1% player.
Yeah, let them do their thing. They got this. Little did I know, bro. Little did I know. That was the start of some bullshit. If we had just stopped it there, they've gone on to nerf every fun gun into the ground, bro. Anything that more than one person found useful, nerf the shit out of it. It got so bad. The CEO had to get on Twitter and be like, yeah, we've gone way too far with these nerfs. We're done with the nerfs. We're going to try to take another approach to balancing. That was actually pretty recently. So,
I mean, you'd go so far to say like, they can't play on the hardest difficulty. Maybe they just aren't playing the game. And that is a problem. Like, not being able to play at the highest level, you know, you can't expect everyone to be that good. Like, just because you're a developer doesn't make you a god gamer. I'm kind of shit at playing games. Like, I play all the FPS games. Like, every game I play, I either play on normal or easy. Like, I don't have time to play it on hard. It's like Elden Ring, Dark Souls. Obviously, there's no like difficulty on that. I will use like summons in Elden Ring. You know, like I'm not below that. I'm not. I just want to play the game. But like, maybe they weren't even playing the game. Like, why would you think nerfing things is a good idea? Spreadsheets instead of playing the game. Yeah, like what feels fun? Like, you can tell pretty quickly if you're a gamer and you play the game, you're like, okay, like every single weapon feels like a wet noodle. Then like, that's not good. It's not good.
So what do you think is the first thing they did in this big update? They nerfed the most popular gun for the bugs, bro.
Hell no, man.
These motherfuckers went ahead and nerfed the incendiary breaker shotgun. Did they rework the rate of fire or something like that? No. They straight up nerfed the ammo capacity. Let me ask you something, Arrowhead. Why the fuck would you release a new level 10 difficulty just to start nerfing your weapons, bro? Do you want us to be able to go up and take on this level 10 difficulty or fucking not? Ammo nerfing in this PvE horde shooter game is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life, bro. They're literally trying to artificially make the game more difficult. Maybe rework or buff the other guns, bro. Why is your approach to balance just seeing how everyone is having fun with a gun and nerfing that gun? If everyone's using a damn gun, it's probably the best gun, bro. Maybe rework that gun and the other guns to make them all on par instead of just nerfing the shit out of that gun. There is nothing fun about running out of ammo and needing to find more, bro. Especially on higher difficulties. Give me a fucking break. I got bug breaches and bot drops dropping right on top of my nutsack. I can't get another clip of ammo, bro. Get the fuck. Once you start getting into higher difficulties, none of your kit really feels as powerful as you need it to be. The time to kill on these enemies is absolutely ridiculous. Even with the fire shotgun, you get ran up on by like 2 stalkers, bro. It's gonna take your whole clip to kill the first 2, bro. So it takes me my whole whole clip to kill 1 to 2 enemies, but you want to give me less clips and a higher difficulty where there's going to be more enemies. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. On top of that, they got a new fire-themed war bond that's about to come out. Perfect. Everybody's been asking for flame armor, more flamethrowers and stuff like that. What do? They rework fire.
It's a bummer. This game looks so cool. Like, it looks sick.
And basically nerf the shit out of it. It basically just doesn't affect armored enemies anymore, bro. Like, dog, is that not dumb as shit? Am I tweaking? I must be tweaking. Of all the times to nerf the fire shit, they chose right before the flame-themed war bond comes out, right after they said they were gonna stop nerfing stuff. Come on, bro. I don't know why they don't want their players to have fun. I don't get it. Second issue, and probably my biggest issue in this entire game, the lack of meaningful progression, bro. Truth about this game is that it shines between difficulties 6 and 8. These are difficulties where the average player is still going to have a challenge, but still feel powerful enough to deal with it. Like I said, bro, needing a whole clip from a fire shotgun to take out 1 to 2 stalkers on higher difficulties, that doesn't make for very fun gameplay. The time to kill on some of these enemies is straight up ridiculous, bro. This right here is where the self-righteous meat writers are going to say, oh, I complete hell dive difficulty all the time, bro. You need to get good at the game. Look, bro, I know level 9 and up is not supposed to be easy. I play Helldive on the regular, bro. I get it. But when your primary guns are so weak and you have so little ammo to defend yourself from the hundreds of enemies coming at you, you're pretty much forced to just run around in circles, avoiding enemies while your strategy.
Yeah, just kiting and chipping away. It's not fun. You're probably better off like increasing the quantity of enemies. I don't know, maybe there's a limitation there.
Are on
I'm not a game designer.
That's not fun
I'm a
gameplay to me,
programmer.
bro. We got players that actually do stealth in this game so they can get the higher difficulties done. Stealth in Helldivers, bro? That's the complete opposite of the point of this game, bro. And the fact that players are forced to do that just so they can complete this shit, something's wrong. Again, people will say that this is when you need to grow as a player. But also, again, beyond some positioning and knowing where to be, there's no...
I mean, let's be real. World of Warcraft, I'm playing tank so I don't die. Just pull every single enemy in the room. It's no big deal.
opportunity to...
Pretty much every game, every RPG, I just play the biggest thing. Like, give me all the armor because I'm not going to die. Like, I'm not... Everybody's different.
actually grow. The enemies are
Some
getting
people really like
exponentially
stealth.
harder with more spawning, but we aren't getting more equipped to deal with them as we go up in levels. This is exactly where we need to see some type of progression, bro. To this day, the dumbest thing I think they've ever done is adding in straight up better variants of weapons that are separate stratagems. For example, we had the EAT rocket launcher. It's a stratagem. You call it down and it's a single-use rocket launcher. What did they just drop as a brand new stratagem 2 or 3 weeks ago? The Commando rocket launcher. The Commando is basically the same thing as the EAT, except it's a 4-barrel rocket launcher. And it's laser guided, so wherever you aim, the missile will follow. They made that a separate stratagem, bro. It's literally the EAT, but it's just better. Arrowhead. Are you fucking dumb? Instead of adding a whole new stratagem that's just a better version of something else, why would you not make it that around levels 6 through 8, that's when you need to start gathering special material? This will kind of force you to hang around levels 6 through 8 while you get...
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they just made the game too hard or like not fun. It doesn't feel satisfying. I think that's probably the thing that you've got to try and achieve, like that satisfaction of like playing and winning the game. It is really challenging. I have not been able to find it myself. Like I've made a couple of games. I don't think I've ever found that feeling of satisfaction in my own designs. But, you know, one day maybe we'll get there. Game design is really hard. Like I can't blame people for that. Okay, so what was I going to do? Okay, there's like a state system, right? Because actually, you know what? Like right now, like what happens if I spam this? Yeah, see how it like goes crazy? This is what I was thinking about. You know, like you don't want to be able to do that. So we have to have like a state. Maybe not changing. We've got like firing, reloading. Like, do we really need all these different states? Maybe we can just have like ready and not ready. Like, do we care? Need an input buffer? Yes. Yes. I'll pretend I know what you mean by that. I've done it before. I don't know if I'm doing it the way that you mean that I'm going to do it. Let's just go like not ready. I need inactive active. No, that doesn't make any sense. Available, unavailable. What word? Unavailable. right? And then I guess the current state should probably start as unavailable. Change weapons. Current state. Sorry, change state. I need to create a function. Change state. State. I guess it's an int. I don't know. You can type enums, right? I need to figure out how to do that. We'll just do this for now. Void. Current. I'll have to add stuff eventually. Current state. Current weapon state. Okay. Equals state. We'll add stuff later. I'm just trying to build out the structure. So we're gonna go for change weapon. We change state to unavailable. But first, before we do this, we say if ready, if current state, current weapon state equals ready. I know there's a cleaner way to do it. I'll have to look it up probably tomorrow. Assignment is not allowed. I need a double equals. What the heck? Okay, so if current state equals ready, then we can go and we can change the state to unavailable. And then we need a callback after this. So we emit to the animation player to change weapons, and then, which starts as unavailable. So we're going to need to change that to ready so that this actually works. So we've got the test character. I guess we can create a signal and just emit it. So we can go signal. Change weapon, complete. Change weapon finished. Yeah, we don't have to do anything like that. And then at the end of all of this, we probably need to await again. This is going to suck. Get tree. I'm going to have to clean this up. I don't like this at all. This is horrible. Create timer. What's the time on that animation? Test character. Animation tree. Quip. 0.95. It's like 0.45. So it's half a second. 0.5. Dot timeout. And then we want to emit the signal, right? So change weapon complete. Change weapon finished. Not emit. Very, very messy code. I'm not happy with that at all. And then we can come back to the player and we can do the callback. Change weapon finished, and we can call back to the camera, the weapon manager. Right, connect. All right. And then we can change state to ready. Something like that. And now you can't spam it. What we are able to do, it looks like we also need to do a check to say that if before we do any of this, I mean, yeah, if it's ready, yes. If weapon index, so we have to say like, if weapon slot weapon index is equal to current weapon slot, then to just return out, Probably do that first. Yeah. So now if I try to change weapon, I can't continually trigger that when I change the weapon, which is better. Alright. I guess that's good enough. Helldivers 3 in Godot. Have I still got a problem with the sprint to aim? Yes. I have to fix that. Okay, later, because it is time for my bedtime. I'm gonna go to sleep. But thanks for hanging out on stream. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun one, actually. Doing some React. I haven't done that before. As always, a big thank you to the Patreons and members. That is not the button I need to click. I need to click the shout out button. There we go. So thanks for the support. Jips, Hazza, Color Pants, Rab, Big Green. He was in the chat the other day. Nike, Jace, Bricky T, YGG, Scormonger, Mr. Sparkle, and Oh Yeah Dude. Thank you guys. Way past time for me to go to bed. Yeah. It is, it's 10 p.m. here, so it's actually not that late, but I wake up really early to do stuff. So yeah. Let's play some music to go out on. What do we like? Hospitals? Hospitals. That's the name of the song. I wrote it in 2017, a long time ago. It's about going to hospital.